Oh, hello. How's everybody doing today? Simplify square roots. Oh, sounds interesting. We all know that another word for square roots is a radical. Where does the word come from? Well, it comes from that, which is a radical sign. Say you have a number inside the radical. 180. Now you don't want to put that in the calculator and get a decimal. That's not simplifying. So the question is, what is simplifying? Simplifying is, we all know our factor tree, but instead of just using numbers, you're gonna put the radical sign. Now we know that dot indicates multiplication. So we're breaking 180 down by factoring it. I like to use the numbers 2, 3, or 5 to break something down. So say I use 2. What do I mean by using 2? Well, I'm just dividing 180 by 2. We know that's 90 because 2 times 90 is 180. 2 is a perfect square. Perfect square means that the only factors are 1 and that number itself. So we can't break that down any further. We have a prime number. Did I say perfect square? I meant prime number. Prime number, sorry. Prime number, not a perfect square. Holy cow, I'm a little out of practice. Prime number, meaning that the only factors are 1 and itself. So that's a prime number. That's why we call it prime factorization. And we circle that. Remember, you guys did very well when I first introduced this lesson back in December. Now I'm going to factor 90. I'm going to use 2 again. Another prime number. Put my dot. And where did I get 45? Well, 90 divided by 2 is 45. I'm going to put this down for a second. You could just swing it around. Mm-hmm. And now I'm breaking 45 down into 9 times 5. Because 9 times 5 is 45. How I got that, you could divide 45 by 5, and the answer would be 9. So at that point, I'm going to come back here. I'm going to rewrite the 45 and break it down into 9 and 5. Well, I'm going to break down 9 into 3 and 3. 3 is a prime number. Circling that. I'm circling that. That's this 9 broke down into 3 and 3. 5's a prime number. I'm circling that. Right? This is the same 5 up here that's down here. So now I have my pairs. Remember, if you have a pair of something, you just rewrite it one time without the radical symbol. So I have a pair of 2's. I'm going to rewrite these 2's. Done. I got a pair of 3's. I'm going to rewrite these 3's just once with no radical symbol. And then I got the square root of 5 all by its lonesome. Okay? So I have to, there's no pair there. I have to rewrite the 5. Now, the last step, 2 times 3 is 6. And we know now that 6, the square root of 5, is our answer. So, how do we simplify square roots using radicals? The square root of 180 simplifies into the 6 times the square root of 5. This is all the work. Let's do another example. My kitchen. My shirt says Carolina on it. All right, let me do one more example. Erase that. All right, everything's erased. All right, good. So let me see. All right, let's do square root of 300. Okay, well that's fine. I can break that down into what? I can say square root of 10 times the square root of 30. 10 times 30 is 300. I can break this, neither of these numbers are primes. Multiple factors of 10. One set of factors is 5 and 2. And I understand this might not be as easy for you guys off the top of your head. So just use the calculator. Everybody has a calculator on their phone. And again, just divide by 2, 3, or 5, and usually those numbers will get you to a place where you can break it down further. These are both prime numbers, 5 and 2. So we're going to stop there. 30 can break down into the square root of 6 times the square root of 5. Got my prime number there. So I'm going to circle that, indicating that I can't go any further with the factorization, but I can factor square root of 6 a little further. And that's going to break down into the square root of 3 times the square root of 2. That's a prime number. That's a prime number. Let's see what kind of pairs we have. Now remember, this 6 is broken down into square root of 3 and the square root of 2. So you're not looking at that. That's why I wanted to make sure that you understand. You're only looking when you're getting your final answer and finding the pairs. You're only looking at the circled factors. So I have a 5 and I have a 5. So that's a pair. I'm going to write 5 once. I have a 2 and I have a 2. That's a pair. We got to remember that we're multiplying this. 3 is all by its lonesome. He stays inside the radical symbol, and we know that our answer, oh, I'm sorry, it's not 6, sorry. You laughing?
I was confused.
5 times 2 is 10, the square root of 3.
Right.
That's what this breaks down into. 10, the square root of 3. That's what the square root of 300 equals when it's simplified. It's upside down, but it's okay. Want to make sure everybody's out there is doing well, taking care of your families, which is more important than any simplification of radicals. Don't stress this work. Mr. McKenna is going to take care of everything. But I do want you to try it. I do want you to learn it. Not for a grade, but for the sake of keeping your mind sharp. Soon this will all be over and we'll all be together again. But until that time, be safe, be good, take care of each other. I'll see you soon.